What do you do with the mad you feel? That's the question I've been asking myself for months now, since going through the most painful thing I've ever been through in my entire life. And I've been really reluctant to make a video about it because I don't know. I don't know why. I guess the story I tell myself is that I don't want to talk about it anymore. And I also don't want to upset people. You know, there's jerks on YouTube, there's jerks everywhere, but for the most part, the people that watch these videos and keep coming back and keep wanting to continue the conversation, they're all so sweet. You guys are all awesome and kind, and it sucks to have to talk about things that are painful. It feels weird. I've never been the kind of person that's really liked to talk about the things that hurt me. I spent so many years in talk therapy doing that, and I don't discredit it, and I think it's incredibly helpful for a lot of people. But I guess I just personally feel talked out sometimes, or most times. And for me, I would rather work out or read, or just do something to express pain differently than just rehashing it over and over again with people. And it sucks because the people that care about me, I know they want me to open up. I know they want me to talk about it, and I have talked about it with my mom and my sister and a lot of other women that I know, and it just, I think the most shocking thing when you have a miscarriage is you don't realize how many women you know that know exactly how you feel. And when it first happened, almost right after I made my last video, I found out, and then had to wait another 2 weeks before it actually happened. And I initially I ate my feelings. That's not a very healthy way to cope. It's better than what I would have done maybe 10-15 years ago. Probably done a lot of coke and a lot of speed and drank a lot. But so I try to weigh, I try to weigh it out. Like, I guess it's better that I ate a few more donuts than that I actually did something even more destructive that then had its own consequences. And I've found a lot of comfort in channeling my anger into physical activity now. And I walk every day, at least a mile, but usually about 3 miles. And it's helpful to get out and breathe fresh air and allow myself to think. Initially, though, at first, it was like every time I saw a woman with a kid or an infant, I just seethed with jealousy and anger. And that's gone away for the most part. There's still a part of me that feels a tug. And I think the most heartbreaking thing of all is I had no idea how many women I know, not just casually, but like women that I'm very close to, that I've known for years, who have had miscarriages. 1 in 5 pregnancies will end in a miscarriage. Not 1 in 5 women will have one. 1 in 5 pregnancies. And I found out that I know women that have had a few. And it's so heartbreaking, and at first, and I don't know if other women felt this way when it happened to them, but when it first happened, I felt like there's no way anybody could know how I feel. There is just no way that anyone else could understand the pain that I'm going through. And to find out that I was completely wrong, and that I actually know more women that have lost pregnancies than I know that have never experienced that. I hope that makes sense. I don't know if much of anything I say today is going to make a whole lot of sense, but I just wanted to say that I really appreciate everyone who has reached out and has asked how I am. I have not told hardly anyone that I know about what happened. Really just my immediate family and my close friends. So I've left the rest of you in the dark for several months while I try to get over this anger. I think that has been the most overwhelming emotion. Of course, I've been depressed. I've been horribly depressed for weeks. But that I know how to manage. I've lived with depression my entire life. So it's something that I'm able to recognize when it hits and take the steps that I need to pull myself out. But I haven't felt this level of rage, this level of anger in I don't, maybe ever. You could say maybe when you were like an angst-ridden teenager and you were kind of mad at the world, maybe then. But there is a special kind of rage that a potential parent feels when they lose a child. And I can't imagine what parents go through or feel when they've actually gotten to raise that child and have gotten to know them and seen a personality. It was heartbreaking just holding that little baby in my hand and knowing I was never gonna get to see them grow up. And it's just it's hard, and it makes you so angry at the world, at the universe, angry at yourself for wondering what could you have done differently? What did you do wrong? What sin in your past are you paying for right now? All these things kind of run through your head, and it's just it's a tough. This has been the toughest thing I've ever gone through in my entire life, and certainly the most painful, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And it's hard. I think if I could have made any request of God or of the universe or of whatever higher power you might believe in, I believe in God, and I put my faith in Christ, and I know that all of this is a part of a bigger plan. But there is a part of you that will always wonder, and I'm assuming I'm probably always going to be a little angry about it. And if I had to do, if I had any sort of say in the matter, I just wish I really wish it hadn't been my first pregnancy. I wish that this hadn't been the first experience I'm ever going to have with trying to be a mom, because it's now, you know, it's ruined any future joy I might feel if I get pregnant again. And I hope to get pregnant again. I hope that I can be a mother. I think I would be a really good one. But I am always going to be worried now. I'm always going to be nervous. I'm always going to be fearful. I'm not going to trust any future pregnancy. I'm not going to want to celebrate any future pregnancy, and it just sucks. It really sucks. And I would love to hear from all of you. You know, how did you handle your worst setback? You know, how did you handle the most painful thing you've ever gone through? And how have you handled the anger? I keep thinking about back when I was a hotline crisis counselor. I used to talk to men and women who were dying, and most of them weren't suicidal. Some of them were, and I always found that understandable, because, you know, if it's really painful, I get why people might think about ending their lives. I get it. But talking to these people who knew that they were going to die, I keep thinking about them. The last few months, I've been thinking so much about those callers and how angry they were, how understandably angry they were in the cards that they'd been dealt, in, you know, the way that their life ended up, that they knew their expiration date. And I just keep thinking about that, you know, and how back then I was sympathetic, and I told them, you know, that I can't possibly understand, you know, how you feel, but I understand why you feel that way. And I feel like now I have an even deeper understanding of that anger you feel with the universe about why, you know, why do things turn out the way they do? And it's a question we're never going to be able to answer. And I guess my question is, you know, what do you do with that anger? You know, what do you do with that feeling of injustice, or, you know, of that things did not turn out the way that you wanted them to, you know, with something that you wanted more than anything else in your life? It's been rough. It's been a rough past few months in my world, and I'm gonna leave it at that. But I am going to leave you with a song. Don't worry, I'm not singing again. That's a video from a long time ago. But this is a song that was featured on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and it is the song that he recited when he testified in front of the Senate about the importance of his show, and how shows like his help children to handle difficult emotions. And it's what I took the title of this video from. What do you do with the mad you feel? When you feel so mad you can bite. When the whole wide world seems oh so wrong, and nothing you do seems very right. What do you do? Do you punch a bag? Do you pound some clay or some dough? Do you round up friends for a game of tag and see how fast you go? It's good to be able to stop when you've planned a thing that's wrong, and be able to do something else instead, and think of this song. I can stop when I want to, can stop when I wish, can stop anytime. And what a good feeling to feel like this, and know that the feeling is really mine. Know that there's something deep inside that helps us become what we can. For a girl, maybe someday a lady, and a boy, maybe someday a man.